With the trade deadline coming up at the end of the month, I was looking at some of the potential trade candidates. And naturally, those guys are also the upcoming free agents. And while you see this concept more in the quarterback market over in the NFL, every mega contract is based off of the last one. So naturally, when I'm looking at what mega contracts Juan Soto and Pete Alonso are going to get, I revisited Shohei Ohtani's contract. And when looking through Shohei Ohtani's contract, I noticed a detail about his money deferral that we might have missed. And this detail can impact every single player in the MLB. Here we go. So for those who aren't familiar, last year, during the offseason, we were expecting Shohei Ohtani to sign a contract somewhere from $500 to $600 million. And he ended up shocking the world, breaking the internet by signing a $700 million contract with the Dodgers. And there's one very important detail about this contract. It wasn't actually 70 per year. He gets 2 a year and then there's 68 10 years later. So like 2 in year 1 and 68 in year 11, 2 in year 2, 68 in year 12. And what we didn't notice about this is that this isn't just so that they have money to spend while he's on the team and no money to spend later on. Because if that was the case, they could just put $68 million aside. Like, they could put it on a fund. Just because they're not transferring it to Shohei Ohtani right now doesn't mean that they can't take it off their books. They can put it aside, have that $68 million later. This isn't just so that Shohei Ohtani has money to spend on his teammates. There's something beyond here. So what is that? So I was looking around a little bit, and I realized that, as we all know, unfortunately, inflation has become part of life. Inflation is just a thing that happens. Over the past 10 years, since 2014, the dollar has lost a quarter of its value. From 2004 to 2014, the previous 10 years, it lost over a fifth of its value. So if we look at 2014, the highest paid player at the time was Ryan Howard with $25.7 million a year. Today, that $27.5 million would be $34.2 million. In 2004, the highest paid player in the league was Manny Ramirez at $22.5 million, which today becomes $37.35 million. So even though Manny Ramirez was getting fewer dollars than Ryan Howard, Manny Ramirez's contract was worth more. So the value of contracts is changing with inflation, which leads us to Shohei Ohtani's contract. We should all be screaming that $68 million after 10 years of inflation isn't the same as $68 million right now. So you punch in the math. There was a study done by University of Michigan, very pessimistic numbers, that said that Shohei Ohtani's contract is only worth $460 million. And I couldn't quite figure out those numbers, so I did a little math of my own. Since 1984, over every 10-year period, the dollar has lost between 21 and 29% of its value. So I took 21%, the least convenient number, so that nobody could say that my video is a stretch. I took 21%, and 680 minus 21% is 537. If you add the 20 million that's going down time, Shohei Ohtani's contract is worth approximately $560 million or less. It's not worth 700, which makes a big impact for the upcoming players. Juan Soto, he's going to want to go over to Yankees front office and say, yeah, Ohtani got $70 million a year. I'm worth a little bit less than Ohtani. I should get $65 million a year. And I believe that myself, a 19-year-old in my dorm room, if I figured this out, I believe the Yankees will also figure this out. And they're going to say, no, he didn't get 70. He got 56. You should get somewhere around 50. And the Yankees said that they're not going over $300 million in their payroll. And their scheduled payroll for next year is under 250, which, as a Yankees fan, I'd love to see. This means that there's a very solid chance that Juan Soto will be back with the Yankees next year. And now the obvious question is, why would the Dodgers do this? So there's a couple of potential explanations. One explanation is that they're trying to fool other teams into overplaying for other players, such as Juan Soto. And I don't like the explanation as much because I think, obviously, 19-year-old in my dorm room, I figured this out. I think that multi-billion-dollar organizations and MLB teams should be able to figure this out. Another explanation is that this could be a bet, Shohei and the Dodgers, on how bad inflation will be. The Dodgers think it will be really bad. Shohei doesn't think it will be so bad. Or this could just be this excuse that I would go with. This could be a publicity stunt. Everybody and their mother was talking about Shohei Ohtani, $700 million. Did they overpay? Did they underpay? The deferral. Everybody was talking about it. huge publicity stunt. Even my sisters who don't follow baseball, they heard about this big Shohei Ohtani contract. Everybody heard about it. It was a very successful publicity stunt as well. And that's the excuse I'm going to go with. And now a couple of questions that can be asked, follow-up questions. How does this impact the Dodgers? So you see, the Dodgers are growing steadily. They're growing more than inflation is affecting the dollar. They're live business, they're moving money, they're making money. So they're not as impacted by inflation as a player whose contract isn't changing. His contract is his contract. It's not changing with inflation. While the Dodgers' net value is growing more than inflation is growing. And another question is, how does this impact every single player in the MLB? And the explanation is that, well, we see Juan Soto is the top of the free agent market, and he's going to get slightly less than Shohei Ohtani, because we all know that he's worth slightly less than Shohei Ohtani. And then the second tier free agents, Pete Alonso, Max Scherzer, they know that they're worth slightly less than Juan Soto, so they won't be able to get a bigger deal than Juan Soto. They'll have a slightly less deal, and then so on to the next, and the next, and the next, and this starts a chain reaction that will impact every single player in the MLB. So this is how a small detail that we could have missed in the Ohtani contract has an impact on every single player in the MLB. Again, not worth $700 million, worth somewhere around $550, $560 million. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for watching.